Hi, Dr. David. I'm Presley Whitfield, and I'll be giving you a presentation about copyright. So, copyright, if you look it up in Google, is the exclusive right given to an originator to print, publish, perform, or film and record a product. This is a simple definition. It gives people the base understanding of what copyright is. It doesn't go into trademark, patent, and all the ideas that come along with it, such as intellectual property, which we'll get into. But according to our textbook, Law and Media and Ethics, by Moore, Murray, Farrell, and Uam, copyright, trademarks, and patents are known as intellectual properties, which this makes up copyright. An intellectual property is tracked back to the Constitution. And in the Article 1, Section 8, the idea was promoted that the idea of science and art was being promoted. It secured authors and inventors the right and time with their ideas, writings, discoveries, and all the art that makes us us. It is an extension of ourselves. And this copyright power also extends to congressional powers. So copyright and patent extend to regulating and regulations of commerce, which this can pertain to foreign nations, several states, and Indian tribes, which is important when it comes down to it, because when you're dealing with other countries, you want to be able to claim what is and what isn't ours, or other states and the tribes, obviously, because of the past. So, what you might be thinking after all this is, who really keeps up with it? Well, that's a good question with a simple answer. The U.S. Copyright Office controls all of the copyrights, patents, and trademarks, and this is also an arm of the Library of Congress. And the idea behind copyright, when you go back to the idea, is the extension of oneself. So you want to claim your ideas because it's a part of you, and your discoveries because you put so much time and effort into it. So you want to know it's kept in a safe place. So when you apply to these things, that's why it's so important to know where it's all kept. A great example I found for understanding copyright is found in Copyright Interpreting the Law for Libraries, Archives, and Information Services by Graham Cornish, and this was in 2015. This idea was based on the property right, which is a basic understanding. So this really broke it down for me and helped me understand it. So I just recently bought a home, and it took the idea of copyright and owning a home and basically said it was the same thing. So, like, when you own a home, you can rent, lease, sell. You can even, heck, give the property away or leave it in a will. There's really so many things you can do with a property. And similarly, others can buy it and hire it through licenses or agreements. And the idea of copyright is the same thing. Is basically you can give out the idea, but someone has to get credit for it. That is the only difference. So it's like, when with my example, you have the owning of the property. Well, you can do whatever you want with it, but it's the same with copyright. You can do whatever you want with it, but the only difference is you have to give the credit. So the idea of copyright is rooted in fundamentals about creativity and possession. Copyright was created in the late 1970s and through patent first, and then became copyright later in the 1800s. It was created, like I've previously said, for the protection of ideas, discoveries, basically the arts and sciences was why it was created. And also for Congress. So the copyright law has changed in the time frame, has changed in time frames, has changed in time frames, such as going from it would last for 14 years, now lasts for 28, and you can renew the copyright. And then there's certain things that it also states about just similar formalities where it's only changed a little, but it has changed. So some prominent cases dealing with copyright and are basically mostly infringement. And there was Mosley and Mosley versus Victoria's Secret Catalog Incorporated in 2003. This had to do with the Victoria's Secret mark and the capacity to identify their goods being sold in their catalog. And it's basically saying the idea was worth it to blur or not blur. And then there's similarly a copyright issue dealing with trademark and the Qualitex Company versus Jacobson Product Incorporated in 1995, which dealt with track mark and color and basically the meanings of the property. And the main one that I focused on was from the Columbia Journal of the Law and Arts. And on the first page, it covers the prominent case of the Religious Technologies Center versus Netcom Online Communication Services Incorporated, which pertain to the copyright of the writings in the Church of Scientologies. But there are many more like this, and copyright does not protect individual words or short phrases, slogans, or there has been a lack of coverage for familiar symbols or designs, also lettering or coloring. Many things make up copyright law. This is just a few that I've talked about.